So I get out the ring. He look out the ring, say, "You all right for a bitch?"
When he started throwing, was you like,
oh, hey, Floyd ain't got no chill.
So I get out the ring. He look out the ring, say, "You all right for a bitch?"
When he started throwing,
Floyd Mayweather ain't got no chill. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Errol Spence recants sparring, doghouse rules with Money Mayweather. Easy work. I ain't got worried. He said Floyd called him a beezy. Listen.
So I get out the ring. He look out the ring.
Listen, Floyd is a fool. This is hilarious. This is one of the funniest stories I think Errol Spence done told. Without further ado, roll the clip.
So I get out the ring. He look out the ring, say, "You all right for a bitch?"
when he started throwing, was you like, oh, like it was different, you know what I'm saying? Like this man 50-0, you know, like you 2-0, he 50-0. Like when he started throwing, was you like, well, damn, this shit different.
Once I got in there, everybody started hitting on the mat.
Oh,
like
wow.
They call it the doghouse. That just triggered like something in my head, like just a competitive instinct in my head. It was like, oh, it's on now. We went like 5-7 minutes, one round. So I get out the ring. He look out the ring, say, "You all right for a bitch?" And I ain't hear him at first. I said, "What?" I said, "Man, you gotta be messed up." I said, "Man, put your shit back on."
Oh, wow.
Matter of fact, turn off the clock. I said, "We can go to somebody drop." And then we get in there and spar for like 8-9 more minutes. We get in there and spar, and then he was like, "All right, that's enough." I think I earned respect. He was like, "All right, this kid ain't no pushover. Like, he don't care, you know, who I am."
Hold up.
Shout out to the pivot, link in the description. That is by far one of the funniest stories that Errol Spence ever said. So you guys heard the clip. He said he was in the ring with Floyd, and Floyd said, "You all right for BITCH?" That is funny. Hey, Floyd, listen, I respect it. You know, I'm gonna say, man, Floyd, he's TBE. He talking to Errol Spence crazy. And Errol Spence, you know, he's hungry. He was whooping people in the amateurs and the Olympic Training Center. And Floyd was clearly older than Errol Spence. And he was keeping him on his toes. I like that. The thing I like about it is Floyd Mayweather, he's the master of the psychological warfare. And he might have been doing it to get under Errol Spence's skin, because he knows if he can enrage or anger a fighter, a lot of fighters are going to fight on emotion, which would then play into Floyd Mayweather's hands, because Floyd Mayweather, he can pot shot you, defense, offense. This is a great story, people.
He look out the ring, say, "You all right for a bitch?"
when he started throwing,
He said, "You all right for a bit." So yeah, I don't know. Floyd must have been, you know, taunting him and maybe trying to get a rise out of him, get Errol Spence to fight with emotion. But you could tell that they truly respect each other, because after that sparring, because first of all, I think Floyd must have, you know, angered the bull, because if you remember, Floyd had I believe he had a Maidana fight, or whoever he was fighting at that time, and Errol Spence, after that sparring, the rumor has it, Errol Spence gave him a black eye. So that does a lot for Errol Spence's legend. And that's been a long going story or rumor that was going on in boxing, is that Floyd got a shiner, a black eye from Errol Spence. Now, in case you live under a rock, one of the biggest cards that has been announced this year is actually happening this weekend. Errol Spence Jr. Hey, start that cat. Man down. On Showtime pay-per-view. I got a lot of content I'll be dropping. I am doing the Boxing Ego watch party. Make sure you guys tune in this Saturday. Weigh-in will be on Friday. Errol Spence, the legend, continues to grow. I remember Errol Spence, he got a lot of notoriety really from this whole Floyd Mayweather sparring. Everybody, because at this time he wasn't a champion. Errol Spence hadn't fought anybody. Errol Spence, he wasn't considered the guy. He was like an urban legend. Only people who had been talking about Errol Spence were people like myself and people who were just in the know and knew some people that had heard about this kid out of Dallas, DeSoto, Texas area. You know, so I love great stories like this. Stay tuned to the end of this video. I definitely got a surprise for you guys. It'll be a surprise for most of you. Now, in the last 30 days, I looked at my YouTube analytics and it showed me 50% of the people that watch my content for the month of March subscribed. So I appreciate you. That means the other 50% failed to subscribe. Maybe they thought they were subscribed and they weren't, because some people get my videos, see it on their home feed and they think they're subscribed, but then you look below and they're not subscribed. YouTube has unsubscribed you, things like that. Now's your chance to fix it. It helps us content creators. It helps myself so I can continue to put out this type of fire for you guys. Let me know what I could do to earn your subscription. Now, Errol Spence, you know, he's on top of the world. 3-belt unification, Yordenis Ugas, definitely not a pushover, but with this type of experience, it shows you that Errol Spence is ready for these moments, because he sparred Floyd Mayweather, guys like Lamont Peterson early on in his career, guys like Adrian Broner. You know, there was even rumors about what happened in the Broner sparring session. So Errol Spence, he's that boy. He got a lot of legendary sparring tales and urban legends about what happened, right? I love this story. I have never, ever heard of it before, about Floyd doing that, but that sounds about right. If you know Floyd, I know several people. I hadn't heard this particular story, put it that way, but I know Floyd, you know, he talks his trash and it's doghouse rules. They were doing unlimited minutes, and Floyd is just an insane competitor. You could tell he don't like to lose. So this was great to hear. Link in the description so you guys can check it out. The Pivot, they did an exceptional job, because again, you notice something that I've noticed, at least two things I want to point out. One, Errol Spence Jr. has done more media obligations than ever. I remember I have an interview with Errol Spence Jr. from years ago, and he said he's kind of chill and he don't really like doing the media obligations, but he understands that it's part of the requirement as far as being a celebrity boxer and a superstar. So, you know, he goes through the motions. This particular fight, out of all fights, I think Errol Spence has done more media than ever. I mean, he's everywhere. It's like he got a new movie coming out or something. He's like, so whoever his handlers are, and he's training and he looks like he's in monster shape. But again, you guys would know that if you subscribe to the channel, Ego Weight Watchers. I've done several videos. Errol Spence is ripped, jacked, absolutely shredded. But I respect his grind, because he's moving like a superstar. You know, he's moving like the Floyd Mayweathers. I'm not saying he is Floyd, but I'm saying he's moving like the Floyd Mayweathers, where Floyd Mayweather had to entertain you, sell tickets, do the press conferences with Conor McGregor and press tours with Canelo and Oscar and Ricky Hatton, and build up the fight. And that's what Errol's doing. He's literally everywhere. He's been on Kate Abdo, Sean Porter podcast. He's on the Pivot podcast. He's doing interviews with Zab Judah and PBC. He did a media day. He just got honored in the city of Dallas as far as getting a Errol Spence Day in Texas, right? So, I mean, the kid's on fire, and he looks like he's training his butt off. So I respect it. I respect the grind. I respect any man who's fulfilling their prophecy and living their purpose. As far as Floyd funny as hell. He funny as hell for telling that to Errol Spence, but I'm sure it was a fire sparring session. I really wish that I could be there. Now, although I wasn't there myself, I told you I had a surprise for y'all. I did an interview with the Cortez Bay of the Bay brothers, famous boxing brothers. Mickey Bay's getting ready to fight Tevin Farmer, I believe in Africa and Ghana. He also works with Devin Haney, who has a major fight with George Kambosos, and he was there. So I'm going to leave y'all on that, and you guys watch this. This is I did this a couple years ago, but some people weren't following the channel when this initially debuted on the channel. So now, since it relates, check out this firsthand testimony of somebody who was there that day when Errol Spence Jr. and Floyd Mayweather actually sparred. Roll the clip. Since you were in the Mayweather gym, I gotta ask you, Errol Spence Jr., you were at the fight, his fight with Lamont Peterson. Were you able to see him spar with Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, I saw him spar.
You laugh. Now, I know you can't spill all the beans with sparring, but just give the fans something. Like, what type of sparring was it?
It was work, man. Just, he did the best I ever saw somebody that spar with Floyd.
Hold on, say that again.
He did the best. Anybody I saw spar with Floyd, he did the best.
So let me get this straight.
Because that was before he was even, I don't even know if he was a contender yet. So
no, he wasn't, I don't think.
Yeah, just the way because everybody on the set, you know, when Floyd sparred, the whole ring is filled with people and everybody dogging the guy that's getting ready to spar Floyd. So he was the first guy that I saw that wasn't taking it like getting scared, or he was laughing like,
what?
And everybody was like beating on the ring and dogging him like, oh, look at his legs shaking and this and that.
What?
But he wasn't taking it like he was in there trying to hurt Floyd.
What? He was laughing?
He was laughing. He wasn't nervous about it. Like he showed a lot of experience. Like, and you know, him and Floyd went tit for tat every single round. Most fighters, they got to pull out of the ring with Floyd. Like, he was a guy that where Floyd, they just had to end the sparring, like, because he wasn't a guy.
He wasn't going to just lie down.
He wasn't getting out. He was on Floyd the whole sparring session.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was well before the Kell Brook, before he was a mandatory, anything like that. So
and then when Floyd sparred, he a whole nother fighter. He sparred way different than he fights. When he's sparring, Floyd more of a fighter. Like, he's sitting in there fighting when he sparred, but when he get into a fight, Floyd he boxes a whole lot different in fights. Like, he move and he more careful in fights.
So I'm gonna just to put the picture into perspective. You just told me you've been around Floyd since the Top Rank days. I don't know what year that was, but I know it was a while ago. Mm-hmm. And you said out of all these people playing basketball with Floyd, Errol Spence, out of all the people you've seen Floyd spar, you would say from your recollection he was the one that did the best?
Oh yeah, most definitely. He did the best.
That's a hell of a co-sign.
Yeah. The only other guys say did real good with him. Other guys did good, but Omar Henry did a good job with him too.
Rest in peace, Omar Henry.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. That was one of my closest friends because he ended up coming. I ran into him with Floyd at the strip club.
The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work.